How? Mhm, आहा। भाई आज तो एकदम ऐसा मैक्सिकन ड्रग ओवरलॉर्ड गुंडा टाइप्स लग रहा हूँ मैं आज। फुल एकदम ऐसा माफिया बॉस लग रहा हूँ, वो भी एकदम ऐसा इटालियन। पूरा एकदम ऐसा बाल पीछे, दाढ़ी। लाइक आई वुड किल इन लाइक अ गोटी, अगर लाइक मैं यहाँ यहाँ की सारी दाढ़ी हटा लूँ। ये देखो, जस्ट दिस। आई वुड किल इन अ गोटी डूड। अगर मैं यहाँ साइड साइड की सारी हटा लूँ, बस ये ऐसा बढ़िया लगेगा। मैं चाहूँ तो रख सकता हूँ यार ऐसा। मैं एकदम ऐसा गुंडा लगूंगा यार, मैं ऐसा एकदम ऐसा मूछ, और यहाँ से बस इतनी सी ऐसे दाढ़ी, ऐसे यहाँ तक, ऐसे बस यहाँ यहाँ तक ऐसा गोटे। एकदम मजे मजे आ जाएंगे भाई। लोग लोग देख के ऐसा कांपेंगे मुझे। हैंडसम तो मैं बहुत हूँ, ऐसी दिक्कत नहीं है। हैंडसम तो मैं बहुत हूँ, हाँ। चलो भाई, तो आज हम कंटिन्यू करते हैं जो हम कर रहे थे। आ जाओ चलो। स्ट्रीम ओके, एवरीथिंग ओके। स्विच टू गेंशिन जल्दी से, बिना कोई टाइम वेस्ट किए। यस, बिल्कुल ही बढ़िया अंदाज में, एकदम मजेदार तरीके से। स्ट्रीम बढ़िया है, गेंशिन बढ़िया है, तुम बढ़िया हो, मैं बढ़िया हूँ, मौसम सुहाना है। अब और क्या ही चाहिए। तररा, रा रा रा, रा रा रा, रा रा रा, ए, हे, हे, आ, हा, 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 हा। ओके, सो मैंने काफी ज्यादा वर्ल्ड क्वेस्ट निपटाए है इसमें। लाइक पूरा मैंने आर्किनजिस वाला वर्ल्ड क्वेस्ट मैंने पूरा खत्म कर दिया। प्रीमोस भाई, प्रीमोस। लालच ना, लालच। प्रीमोस का जो, जब वो प्रीमोस जब मुंह लग जाते हैं ना, फिर वो जाती नहीं है प्यास। प्रीमोस की प्यास बुझाए ना बुझती भाई, बुझाए ना बुझती। अ, आ जाओ चलो। जस्ट कैम सेटअप देख लूं। हाँ सही है, सही है, सही है, सही है। हाँ बढ़िया, आ जाओ। अरे, मैं वहां पे फेंक क्यों गया? तुमने देखा एक सेकंड के लिए मैं अंदर की तरफ फेंक गया। अच्छा, बाय द वे, आई पुल्ड शार्लेट, आई हैव शार्लेट नाउ। C0, but I do have her.
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appeared it's all right though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food. Really?
Ooh,
You're almost a
just
little
leave
too
it to
easy to win
Paimon
over,
with food.
Paimon. If I
Yep.
were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already bumped into Mona here in Fontaine. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary traveler and Paimon?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Of
अच्छा,
course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
बस हेयर चेक्स कर रहा हूँ मैं अपने, करता रहना चाहिए. यस, आई हैव टू लुक गुड डूड. इफ आई डोंट लुक गुड,
Yeah,
व्हाट्स द
are
पॉइंट
we
ऑफ इट?
even qualified enough?
Yes, we are,
If I say
Paimon.
you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
अच्छा.
In that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately.
अरे
I'll
आई
have to
नो
apply
भाई,
for lighting,
ये
and, some
एडिटर इन
props,
चीफ
and...
भी ना कोई विजन होल्डर है, मेरे को पक्का है. मेरे को
So
पक्का
much to
है
get done now.
ये
Talk
एडिटर
to you
इन चीफ
later.
जो होगा ना, ये कोई बहुत तगड़ा फाउंटेन कैरेक्टर होगा. ये
Wait,
होगा
Chad,
एक
Paimon's
पायरो.
still got a question for you.
द ओनली स्टीम बर्ड है ना, या फिर एनिमो भी हो
What's
सकता है.
that?
एनिमो होगा ये, मजेदार एकदम.
Just for
Yup.
example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow? What would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy
I
you're
haven't
talking
like
about, isn't
built
it?
or used her. Like I don't
mean, I do
see the
hear about
point in it.
often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow.
Hmm.
If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine.
Yep.
Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to... From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass.
Hmm.
In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather
और
than worry
प्राइमोडियल
over
सी
such
ना
an
काफी
end.
ऐसा चिपचिपी
So in
स्मूदी
all
जैसा
likelihood,
दिखता है. लाइक
I'd probably
मैंने
still be
नार्किन
putting this
जेसस
off
वाला
until
जो
that
वर्ल्ड
interview of
क्वेस्ट
ours.
किया था ना, उसमें तुम
I know what
जाते हो
you
लाइक
think.
एक बॉस
It
फाइट के लिए
sounds a bit
प्राइमोडियल
silly,
सी.
but I've always just think about it.
अच्छा बाय द वे,
If
उसमें
this
तुम्हें एक
nation really
स्वॉर्ड
were to
भी
be
मिलती है
suddenly
फ्री में.
destroyed tomorrow, but I still
फ्री
successfully
का सामान नहीं
finished an
छोड़ना भाई.
exclusive interview with a truly
फ्री
unique
का
person,
सामान तो
then
कभी
the
नहीं
story I
छोड़ना.
would wind up writing would truly be timeless. And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. Still
फ्री का सामान नहीं छोड़ना भाई.
I'm not a dreamer,
Sorry
nor
for
am
that
I a
echo.
workaholic, but I do love my job. And I'd be... But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
अरे यार कल डूबेगा
That's
फाउंटेन, पता है
so
मुझे, कल या
nice.
परसों में. मतलब गेम में.
All of us. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
सी ओके, आ जाओ. क्या होगा ऐसा सी में? कुछ तो होना चाहिए यार. समुद्र, समुद्र की.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh?
यप,
Hmm.
देखना कुछ तो होगा बहुत दूर से.
Paimon's been thinking.
यस.
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do?
सिलेस्टिया
No,
चले
I
जाएंगे.
should ask, if
सिलेस्टिया
you could
चले
choose,
जाएंगे.
what would you like to do?
अच्छा अबे लेकिन ट्रैवलर तो लाइक लिटरली ट्रैवलर है ना वो. ही कैन ट्रैवल बिटवीन वर्ड्स. यस
We've
सडनली.
always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things.
या
We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
until that moment comes, I'll think I'll keep journeying on. भाई पता नहीं यार, मतलब ना टेवाट अच्छी जगह है, बस यहाँ के लाइक थोड़ा ये सेलेस्टिया वेलेस्टिया का दिक्कत है. बाकी अगर तुम लीवे वीवे में पॉश एरिया में घर ले लो, या फाउंटेन में लाइक थोड़ा ऐसा पानी का दिक्कत हो सकता है. फाउंटेन में थोड़ा पानी घुस जाएगा कभी कभार घर में, इसलिए आई थिंक थोड़ा ऐसा लीवे. बट वहाँ पे इंटरनेट का दिक्कत आता है. सो आई थिंक सो अभी हमें सुमेरु, हाँ सुमेरु में लाइक तुम ट्रॉपिकल साइड घर ले सकते हो. थोड़ा गर्मी का प्रॉब्लम रहता है वहाँ पे, बट पॉश एरियाज है वहाँ पे. बट वहाँ पे थोड़ा महंगा प्रॉपर्टी है, लाइक वहाँ का पॉश थोड़ा ज़्यादा पॉश है. सो ऐसी जगह जहाँ पे सही भी है. बाकी इनाजुमा, लेकिन वहाँ का थोड़ा ऐसा क्राइम रेट ज़्यादा रहता है. सो आई थिंक वी शुड गो जस्ट सिंपल मॉन्स्टैड, लेकिन वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई पॉश एरिया नहीं होने का, तो लीवे थोड़ा बेस्ट ऑप्शन रहता है. थोड़ा जमीन का पास का एरिया ले लेगा, सही रहता है. लीवर बढ़िया रहता है, तो थोड़ा ऐसा जमीन का पास का एरिया लीजिए. बढ़िया इंटरनेट आएगा, फिर पहाड़ पे चल के सीनरी भी बढ़िया आएगी. फाउंटेन में ऐसा थोड़ा पानी का दिक्कत आएगा, लेकिन अगर तुम्हें पानी पसंद है तो देन फाउंटेन में ही कर लो. फाउंटेन लाइक आई लाइक लीवे आउट ऑफ all the regions. I just do. Yes.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
वैसे तो हम अपनी बहन को ढूंढ रहे थे, बट चलो कोई ना. मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है ट्रैवलर लाइक भूल ही गया वो क्यों घूम रहा है. यप. मेरे को ऐसा पता नहीं क्यों लग रहा है लाइक शी हैज फॉरगॉटन. यप.
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for
Yeah.
sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonium.
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervilat sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message. Yes, inside the Opera House.
Yep.
The Marechaussee Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her.
Harassing?
Loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And
Acha.
before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree.
I mean, उसके
People
काम भी ऐसे ही
naturally
हैं.
rely on gods, as is customary.
Yep.
But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So
True.
what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that
She's
the
crying.
situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
अच्छा.
You mean she's
अच्छा,
still
by the
missing?
way, Zhongli, he is the only Archon. Zhongli and Venti are the only two Archons जो like Archon War से अभी तक है. नहीं, राइडेन ए भी है बट लाइक दोनों ही थे. सो लाइक नहीडा एंड फोसोलोर आर लाइक द न्यूअर आर्कॉन्स, लाइक द सेकंड जनरेशन. बाकी जो तीन आर्कॉन्स है विच आर जोंगली एंड बेवड़ा एंड यू नो इनाजुमा की महारानी
That's right.
शिवगामी
The
देवी.
Marechaussee has dispatched many people to search for her.
जोंगली, बेवड़ा और
They haven't
शिवगामी
found
देवी.
any
यस,
yet.
ये तीनों सबसे पुराने वाले.
That said,
ये
I
तीनों
don't
लाइक
think there's much
ओरिजिनल
to worry
आर्कॉन्स है.
about.
Yep.
She is a god after all.
Yep.
Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Nervilat sent me to tell you about...
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
I just love doing this. ये देखो ऐसा then it's the best thing to do, dude. It's the best thing to do ऐसा. I don't know why it's so fun. मैं ना किसी बहुत सीरियस कट सीन के बीच में ऐसे करके मैं करने वाला हूँ भाई. मैं ये करने वाला हूँ. ऐसा कोई बहुत सीरियस कट सीन चल रहा होगा, मैं सडनली ऐसे करूंगा. मैं ये करने वाला हूँ, dude. I am going to spoil it. I am going to spoil it for you and I am going to spoil it for myself. Yes.
If we know Farina, she won't try
Yep.
to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat.
Yeah, because उसकी memories चली गई हैं, I think so, because वो पानी में
And as
गिरी
you
थी.
also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone.
Yeah, I guess. We are just assuming that though, Paimon. We are just assuming that she doesn't.
When Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse.
Meh.
It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today.
भाई बिल्कुल एकदम ऐसा मैक्सिकन गैंग मेंबर. Staff, get. You don't know how to. Yes. अबे कौन है बे? कौन है बे? बाद में.
Paimon thinks Farina's
पहले
probably
Archon
taking the
quest.
opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to
Poisson.
remove the sense of guilt that she's feeling.
Yep.
Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up too. Cool, huh?
Yep.
In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we...
Poisson. Poisson means fish in French, if you don't know. But yeah, it's like लोग कहते हैं it is France, but like I think it's more of Italy. I mean, it's a mixed. It's like Italy and France and Venice especially mixed. Fontaine. I don't know. I just think like it's all like the
This place
francophone,
looks deserted.
like the Monde
Guess all the
francophone,
survivors must have
and
evacuated
Monde
already.
francophone means
All
like the
that's left
French-speaking
here are signs
countries,
of
like the
devastation.
French-speaking world. So yeah,
Could
I
Farina
think it's
really
like
be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
there she is. क्या मैं इसके थ्रू गिर सकता हूँ? ओह यस, गिर सकता हूँ. एक सेकंड, मैं यहाँ नीचे जाके भूल गया मैं यहाँ पे क्या होता था. आ जाओ, देख ही लेते हैं. अरे क्या ये सिर्फ मैं था या तुम्हें भी आवाज आई? क्या ये सिर्फ मैं था या तुम्हें भी आवाज आई? अरे ये ले लेते हैं. ये लेवल अप मटेरियल है. बेरिल कॉन्च. So yeah, this is what you need to level her up, like Charlotte. Yes. ये टिडगाला भी किसी के लिए होगा भाई. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर ये टिडगाला ना किसी के लिए आएगा. और तब मेरे पास अभी बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन तब ना मेरे को एकदम कमी पड़ जाएगी, तो इसलिए मैं अभी जब भी मेरे को दिखता है ना, मैं इस पे F दबा के कलेक्ट कर लेता हूँ. अब मेरे को पता चलेगा फिर देखना ये खाने की रेसिपी में काम आता है, बट नहीं, ये टिडगाला होगा भाई किसी ना किसी के लिए. तो ना स्कर्क के लिए होगा शायद से, वो जो नई कैरेक्टर है. मैंने देखो थोड़े स्पॉयलर्स तो देखो, अब इंस्टाग्राम इधर उधर चलाते हैं, दिख ही जाते हैं. ओए इसको जंप स्केयर. अबे यार जंप स्केयर देता ऐसा पानी में से नीचे से बू.
That's Farina, right over there.
Shh, stay quiet.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless.
Yes.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead.
Kind of.
Sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out.
अरे उसका विजन उसके पीछू है यार.
What can I even do other than to repeat meaningless
Yep.
apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just...
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you
Yep.
were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them too. Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
साले अभी बताऊं तेरे को.
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
बताऊं तुझे.
They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in That's against the rules. I can't let them get...
अरे भाग क्यों रही है यार लड़.
Just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with.
We can easily, we are like Archon level dude. हम आराम से भाग के तो पकड़ ही सकते हैं हम उसे. देखो अभी जाके छुप जाएगी कहीं. ये डब्बे के पीछे अच्छा नहीं. अरे कहाँ भागी जा रही हो. कहाँ काहे रही हो. डब्बे के पीछे छुप.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
I love it.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Yep. Lead the way भाई, lead the way. तेरे को जैसे बड़ा पता है. ओह बंद कमरे में अब इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी भाई. मच्छी से मारेंगे इसको.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep. This place is not what I'd call.
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
कुछ तो हो रहा है.
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson,
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that.
Yep.
Novelette's made some emergency plans, so the...
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years.
अच्छा मतलब ये बहुत
I
लंबी
once
जीने
had
वाली है.
informants
Yep.
all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But
अच्छा.
all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot
अच्छा.
make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we
Why?
do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
भाई हेवनली प्रिंसिपल्स की ऐसी की तैसी.
Give up.
पहले मेरी बहन चुरा ली, अब ये सब करेंगे.
I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just
मेरे को लग रहा है यार
started to
इसकी यादें वादें चली
and
गई
so
हैं
many people
पानी में
have
गिर के.
already lost their lives. But
Yep.
just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with
Yeah.
fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will... Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank, don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Yes, she was. Yep.
Share, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Yep.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
बोल बोल सच. कट सीन. बोल 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 बोल
I...
बोल राधा बोल. मुंह तो खोल, मुंह तो खोल. बोल बोल. जल्दी जल्दी बोल, जल्दी बोल, जल्दी बोल. अरे अर्थ को एक बाद में भी आ सकता है तू. ओए आए आए आए. ये क्या हो रहा है? आए.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
Trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
बोलती बहुत है यार ये.
You as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
Nope.
May I interpret these words
Yep.
as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
अरे 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 फंस गई. फंस गई. लेकिन ये मॉन्स्टार्ड के वेपन्स की यूज करते हैं.
Like you have made up your
अरे भाई अपने यहाँ के करो.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on?
Yep.
I just see an Archon.
Wow, how utterly...
Lady Farina.
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands...
Looking for excuses again.
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yep.
I was unable. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in. But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo!
Oh no!
रेवलेट को गुस्सा आ जाता है यार. नॉलेट से तू चुपचाप बैठ ना रही है.
Didn't she just get forced to
बैठ
stand
ना
trial
तू
for her
तू बैठ.
crimes? Also,
Yep.
even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking the...
All right then. Who?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Thank you,
Is
Your Honor.
that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tevat, my accuser and fated opponent.
Yep. अरे ये अगर ड्रामेटिक्स ना करे वैसे तो इसके ड्रामेटिक्स भी काम नहीं आने वाले भाई. मैं दिल्ली विल्ली का लौंडा हूँ, मेरे सामने ये सब
Also,
काम नहीं आते.
please allow me to ask as
ठीक
a
है.
final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I
अच्छा.
can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed
Oh.
into plain clothes
ये हमें
and
क्यों नहीं
came to
पता
the
चला?
Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophet. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
अच्छा
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human.
मजा तो तब आता जब ये भी क्रश हो जाता.
Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance. Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of
Fathers.
spent a massive
अरे
amount of
आंटी.
labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So,
अरे
in
फटुई
other
पे तो
words,
मोरा
the
भाई
earthquake that we found
मोरी
within
पड़ी
the
है.
giant magic box
Yup.
was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Yep.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role
भाई
is to
सिल्वर
sit
जिंदा होना चाहिए
distracted
था
in
यार.
the
2 लपड़ में
conversation
पुदीना
once
से
we
सारे
found
सच
you in
निकलवा
Poisson.
देता.
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we... Oh?
Yep.
Is that so?
अरे यार सचमुच में रिग्रेट कर रही हो.
The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience.
Oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. Oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. Yeah, the only thing we can do is to judge the Hydro Archon. भाई Zhongli होना चाहिए था यार. Yep.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this document is a... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro... This is the first of the Toon
Sure.
Harbinger. The fortress of... According to Monsieur, I nearly lost my... The words of someone as extraordinary...
Okay, I get it.
The prosecution
जो भी
and the
नया आ रहा है
defense
भाई
are both in
सब्सक्राइब
position.
करो, लाइक
The
करो,
trial shall now
मजा
begin.
आएगा मुझे.
Oh, come on, Nervilette.
Yep.
There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all. It is
तेरे लिए
only
better होगा.
natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However,
You know, it would be
will
better
need
for your
more than
own
that to
case if you
convict
just stay
me
quiet.
of a crime.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an archon.
ट्रैवलर बोल पड़ा. ट्रैवलर बोल पड़ा. ट्रैवलर ने बोला. ट्रैवलर ने बोला. ट्रैवलर ने बोला. I always get excited when the traveler speaks, dude. When the traveler speaks, it's always epic.
Instead, I
Yup.
would like to.
अरे भैया हाँ आगे 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 वापस आ गए भाई रुको 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 आ गए थोड़ा सा स्ट्रीम क्वालिटी नीचे गया है सॉरी माई बैड रुक जाओ थोड़ा अच्छा होने दो रेड से बाहर आने दो 1 सेकंड शुरू करते हैं दोबारा से अबे यार ये ना जब भी मैं आर्कॉन क्वेस्ट करता हूँ ना एक दिन होता है मेरे को लगता है ये लोग ना बैठे हुए हैं मेरे को लगता है गेंशिन वाले ना जस्ट बैठे हुए हैं कि कब गेंशिन वाले भी नहीं मेरा लाइट वाला वो जस्ट लाइट भी नहीं मेरा नेट वाला सॉरी मेरे को ना एक तो जब मैं ना इरिटेट हो जाता हूँ मेरे को आधे टाइम तो समझ नहीं आता मैं बोल क्या रहा हूँ भाई यार इतनी बढ़िया स्ट्रीम चल रही थी यार तो इतना कुछ अच्छा हो कोई लाइक बहुत आगे नहीं बढ़ गए लेकिन यार अब ये सारा डायलॉग ना दोबारा से करना पड़ेगा और मेरा दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा क्या हम वहीं से कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall
चलो
now begin.
अरे बाबा प्रभु Thank you.
Unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even.
अरे धन्यवाद प्रभु धन्यवाद
It is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a
प्रभु
god. However,
शुक्रिया
you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true.
sorry
My
to
charge here is
everyone
unrelated to your con.
Yup.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first
अरे
place.
दिद्दा
What was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but
अरे
I hear that
दिद्दा
right? She's not our Archon at all?
Yep.
Charge accepted.
चार्ज एक्सेप्टेड और भाई न्यूलेट
Lady Farina,
फाड़ के रख देगा न्यूलेट
plead
गुस्से में
guilty to
आज
the charge.
आज न्यूलेट गुस्से में है भाई फाड़ फूड़ के रख देगा सबको
Lady Farina,
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way.
आज न्यूलेट गुस्से में है भाई लेकिन एक अच्छी बात है गेंशिन का ये नया फीचर यप फुरीना द फाउंटेन
Kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine could be anything other than your true Archon.
a member of the seven and the regina of all waters kindreds peoples and laws of Fontaine could okay
Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
nope
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything.
ए डर रही है 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 डर रही है
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We
Yep.
have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then
Yep.
let me ask. if you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Yep. Child's conviction. Acha. Irrelevant. During the diplomatic. Ooh, I could. Irrelevant. अरे ये I will select this.
First of all,
Yep.
you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea?
Yep.
Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse?
Yep.
I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
Yep.
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them.
I mean, all Archons. नहीं. Venti and Zhongli were like elemental beings जो बने हैं. So was Nahida. So yeah, there were actually like elemental beings.
Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale in
The Annalise
Opera
Cardinale,
House,
yep.
or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Yep. The one trial proved the opposite. Farina actually has no control. Yeah, child's conviction.
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Yep, a brief demonstration of your power over Hydro would be quite harmless. Yep.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of
Yep.
Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can
Yep.
be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still
True.
be a god?
If you don't have any power, you're not a god, really. To be very honest.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please. You...
If what the prosecutor said is true, she
Yep.
really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon
Yep.
existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. Ugh.
Yep, a murder case. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Ha-da-da-da-da-da-da. नहीं. ये वाला. Oh, that works.
That doesn't...
Okay, ये वाला काम नहीं करेगा. ये वाला? Nah, that doesn't sound right too.
It has been established that
Yep.
all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before
Yep.
addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck
Yep.
the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some... So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we
Yep.
would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula.
Yeah.
The Spina has governed
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us.
Not really. She could be someone else.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As
Yep.
it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's
That
going
could
on?
only mean.
Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you...
Hey!
She actually...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My head... Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water. Really, was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a...
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the...
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss
Yep.
Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the
Yep.
adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin.
Ooh.
Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
इतना concentration वाला नहीं था.
I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency
Yep.
to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human.
Yep.
After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You...
Yep.
Listen to me, everyone. Please think about it. How can you conclude? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just...
ना मैं भी नहीं. होता है यार कभी कभार ना कोई झूठ या कोई चीज इतनी बड़ी हो जाती है. यप.
I swear, I really am your Archon.
भाई नवलेट तो सुना देगा भाई डिसीजन. नवलेट सुना देगा भाई. नवलेट तो सुना देगा.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
Yep.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
और ट्रीस मैकेनिक डेनेलिस का गाना बना दिया भाई. गाना बना. So the Hydro Archon will sit crying on her throne. कुछ तो होने वाला है भाई. कुछ तो बैक स्टोरी दिखने वाली है. अरे blackout.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty.
Guilty. अरे छन से जो टूटे कोई सपना छन से जो टूटे कोई सपना. अरे ये तो रो रही है. तो पहले से ही रो रही है.
Oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Yep. अरे यार ये कट सीन बड़ा बढ़िया है भाई. ये कट सीन बहुत बढ़िया से. बहुत बढ़िया. बहुत ज्यादा बढ़िया. अब आएगा डेथ सेंटेंस.
Of the Oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale,
Farina is शॉक हो गया भाई.
What's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
Oui.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
I mean, लोगों की
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
Yep.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
I mean, a lot of people did die. Yep.
Sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Yep.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
सोचना पड़ेगा इस पे.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me.
Father नहीं भाई, mother. Mother Knave.
That the first prophecy slate?
Looks like it.
So the Knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took, but has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Yep.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
Farina is an Oceanid?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime.
Yep.
It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three...
ओए कटसीन आजा भाई, मेरे को ऐसे समझ नहीं आएगा, मुझे कटसीन चाहिए. अबे यार अमा मियां, ये क्या है? रियल इवेंट्स रिलेटेड टू प्रोफेसीज. अच्छा
Stone slate describes what you just said.
हाँ.
It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
Okay.
Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids?
ओह अच्छा, तभी सब दोबारा से ओशनिड्स बन जाते हैं.
If Oceanids can turn into humans, then
Yep.
perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia
ओह
floating in the sky.
अच्छा हाँ, यही तो sin है.
And her people worshipping it together.
Yep.
But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
अच्छा.
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
Yep.
The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
Yep,
Well, the
Navia.
first slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
So what now? Nah.
That doesn't sound...
ये
That doesn't...
ये
That doesn't...
ये
That doesn't...
ये ये अच्छा.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Because they are basically water. पानी छे. पानी छे. नहीं, that does. ये वाला. ये वाला.
Perhaps what is about to take
Yep.
place has all happened before. And the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia has recorded on the stone slates.
Ooh, अच्छा. A sentence never before passed in the. Yep. ये.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea, could that be alluding to the same thing?
अच्छा, मेरे को अभी भी कुछ समझ तो आ नहीं रहा है वैसे. बट चलो कोई ना.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. But not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
ओके, सेंस बना रही है. यस, आइडिया का फुवारा बहने लगेगा.
But won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid.
So they'll return to what they were originally. अच्छा.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin.
अच्छा.
She fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events.
क्या है ट्रुथ? अरे सच तो बता दीज. कटसीन लोड हो जा. ओह, कटसीन. अच्छा, नियरली.
Paimon gets it now. So that's... But... Then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Yep.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Nadia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Ah, the seconds.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans.
अरे सेलेस्टिया बड़ी बेकार जगह है भाई. वो खुश है तो खुश रहने दो. खुश है तो खुश रहने दो.
It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected.
Yep.
Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However,
सही बात है
while
भाई.
we were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within.
ओके ओ अच्छा हाँ न्यूबलेट तो पानी पढ़ सकता है ना यस 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 न्यूबलेट तो पानी पढ़ सकता है
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Okay.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of the Seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea.
Primordial sea,
she poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea.
Celestia तो है यार.
Is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
अच्छा.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's
but
way
what
too
if
much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
But like, what if they just like? What about the ones that were actually born due to reproduction?
Sentenced to death? After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
Yep.
The key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Nadia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the 3rd slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy...
Yeah, I thought the same.
Everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
Just what Kratos said.
Seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
The more you try to defy it, the more you're just going to do it. Like, पूरी God of War की स्टोरी यही है कि जो करना है वो इसलिए करो ताकि तुम्हें प्रोफेसी डिफाई नहीं करनी, इसलिए ना ही इसलिए करो क्योंकि वो लिखा हुआ है, इसलिए करो क्योंकि वही चीज सही है, तभी you can break prophecy. Yep, trying to break prophecy will never break it. The only way to break prophecy is to just not consider it anything. Fate only binds you if you let it. Yep.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels
But still, why do Fontanians get like visions? अगर ये सब गलत है sin में तो.
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes?
Yep.
However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
What is it? Is it the whale?
Just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
It was the whale, I guess. Yep. You saw a whale floating in the sea. Yep.
It was both dream and reality.
Oh. So ये है वो मच्छी.
We're talking about a true culprit. That could only be that thing inside the
अरे
primordial
इतनी बड़ी
sea,
मच्छी. सिल्वर होता तो पका के खा जाता लेकिन.
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
The all-engulfing whale? अरे ए मच्छी ए अरे कट सीन शुरू हो गया अरे मच्छी बाहर आ गई ओ भाई न्यूवलेट लड़ेगा फाइट सीन ये बम फेंक दिया भाई अरे नेवलेट मत कर तेरी एचपी कम होती है भाई ओ जीत जा जीत जा जीत जा जीत जा जीत जा जीत जा नेवलेट नहीं 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 नेवलेट हारेगा नहीं तू ड्रैगन है भाई वो तो मच्छी है पका के खा जाए इसे ए गोविंदा गोविंदा आ गया है ये गोविंदा आ गया ओरे 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 इतना गंदा भाई इसको इसका विजन वापस करो गोविंदा आ गया ये एपिक 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 वापस जा अंदर वापस जा वापस जा अरे थक गया बेचारा थक गया थक गया थक गया थक गया शील्ड अरे थम्स डाउन हमें भी अंदर जाना है क्या आई डोंट थिंक सो हमें जाना चाहिए लेकिन क्या हम जाएंगे यस Yep.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an appearance here.
अच्छा तो ये whale mastermind है. Yep.
It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels.
हम भी तो दूसरे stars के हैं.
Once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first killed Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
So maybe ये whale Celestia ने plant भाई मैं Celestia की फाड़ के रख दूंगा अगर ये सब मेरे को Celestia का काम लग रहा है Celestia
nigh impossible to resist.
मेरे को पता है क्या लग रहा है ये जो Celestia है ना इसके ही कारस्तानी है ये सब और वो जो भेड़िए भी आते हैं ना Rift Hounds वो सब भी Celestia का ही काम है ये क्योंकि Celestia is like an outsider that came in.
Managed to push it back, right?
Yep.
In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct.
Yep.
Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We might have known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, Now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
How about the sword of Narcissus? What do you
It
mean?
had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it.
Yep.
At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if
तो
the
sea
entire
खत्म कर दो.
Earth were to be destroyed,
Yep.
it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe.
अरे पीट देंगे अभी यार. 4-5 आर्कॉन तो ऐसे पीछे बैठे हैं हमारे और सिर्फ स्पॉन्टेनियस ही तो घुलते हैं ना. अरे भाई जोंगली राइडन वाइडन सब आ जाएंगे. एक कॉल की देरी है. नहीडा बुला लूंगा. वो तो पानी की बनी है भाई. ब्लूम ब्लूम में मर जाएगी वो. इतने ब्लूम रिएक्शन हो जाएंगे. नहीडा उस पर ऐसा पौधा फेंक के मारेगी. ब्लूम 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 मरेगी एकदम. यप. अरे मार देगा यार. ट्रैवलर सब मार देगा भाई. यप.
Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
अच्छा. क्रेटोस क्या कहता है? Fate only binds you if you let it.
Just as prophecies
Yep.
are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate
Yep.
shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future.
ओह. अरे सबको फाउंटेन. भाई तेरे साथ साथ 3 आर्कॉन खड़े हैं. तू बस कॉल कर ट्रैवलर. तू बोल. जोंगली आएगा वो पत्थर फेंक के मारेगा मच्छी पे. ऐसा ऐसा जोर का पत्थर. यप. व्हाट इज हर रियल सीक्रेट? यस. अरे भैया तू बोल जोंगली से. वो पत्थर फेंक के मारेगा एकदम मजेदार तरीके से. अब ये क्या हो रहा है भाई? यस. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग?
It is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
अरे इसे कुछ पता ही नहीं चला क्या? इसे कुछ पता ही नहीं चला क्या? क्या हो रहा है?
I still need answers.
अरे ट्रैवलर बचा लीज. ओए 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 ओए. कुछ तो हुआ है. अरे क्या हुआ? ओह. अरे तलवार. इतना बड़ा तलवार कैधर से आया जय? भाई कुछ तो हो रहा है. कुछ तो पता चलने वाली है. कैडी चीज. ये कौन है ये? Who are you? देखने में तो फुरीना लग रही. You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
अरे इसकी आवाज से तो सुन के लग रहा है ये सचमुच में कौन है. यप. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor?
अच्छा.
Why did you deceive us?
Oh,
जवाब दे.
my goal, of course.
दे जवाब.
Yes, no. But
Yep.
I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving.
ओके जो भी हो रहा है मेरी समझ में नहीं आ रहा. बट I'll just act like I understand it. ये अच्छा.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused.
Bemused.
When that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor.
Yep.
That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She
So
knew
किया क्या
full
तुमने?
well that the prophecy would
Yep.
surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized
Yep.
there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I
What
had
was
to
it?
outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time.
अरे तो सबको
I'm a
भेज दे
genius,
दूसरे
I
देशों
know.
में.
I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although,
अच्छा.
looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon,
Yep.
and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up.
हो क्या रहा है भाई? सर्कल मत घुमा.
I did not choose
Yep.
this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you
So
were
she's-
also once one
Yep.
of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was.
Yep.
I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be
सर्कल्स
human
नहीं,
is to be
सीधी
part
लाइन.
of the
आज मैंने
greatest
स्ट्रेट लाइन
opera
पढ़ा है.
known.
Y is equals
After
to
becoming
mx
a
plus c.
god, I separated my
Yep.
divinity from my body and spirit,
अच्छा.
leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see
अच्छा.
before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel
Okay.
joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her
Ore.
strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes,
Yep.
Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be.
So Furina is not the
Anyway,
Archon though.
So then I cursed her. All part of the
Yep.
plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy?
Yep.
The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled,
Yep.
I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse
अच्छा.
I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading
अच्छा.
lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass.
ठीक है लेकिन क्यों? सर्कल्स नहीं, स्ट्रेट लाइन.
The opera epiclese.
But Farina
Yep.
is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
Oh, it
It
would
has
have been.
indeed.
Yep.
And although she is, in a sense,
Yep.
me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all
Yeah.
along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
ओहो. अरे 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 क्या हो रहा है ये तो बताओ. चिच्चा हे ट्रैवलर चिच्चा यप ओके ओ भाई मास्टर इंटेरोगेटर भी है मेरे साथ मेरी टीम में ए हम यहाँ पे भी अपनी पावर्स यूज करेंगे यस काजुहा का मिसयूज ना हो मेरी स्ट्रीम पे ऐसा हो सकता है कि ओके फुर्रीना लेट्स टॉक बात करते हैं आजा
Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules.
Furina.
Right. It is not my intent to
Don't look at me.
reprimand
Don't
you.
look at me.
There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
Yeah, just let the stage lights go off.
Can you not feel it?
Please.
I am
Yup.
Fosor. The
That
eyes
way,
of countless
I can be.
Fantanians are
I can
upon
become
me.
myself
I
a
must
pum.
at all
Acha.
times display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Yup. मुक्का मार दे मुंह पे मुंह पे मुक्का मार दे
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
इधर आ तेरी ऐसी की तैसी तुझे बताओ बेटा राइट्सली लेके ऐसे ही नहीं घूमता हूं मैं ये ले ये ले ये ले ये ले ये ले अरे ये थोड़ा ग्राफिक्स बिगड़े बिगड़े से नहीं लग रहे है ना ऐसा फोन वाले ग्राफिक्स लग रहे हैं मुझे फॉर सम रीजन ये थोड़ा सा ग्राफिक्स मेरे को थोड़े कम लग रहे हैं हाँ कम हो गए ग्राफिक्स थोड़े से ज्यादा नहीं या बहुत ज्यादा स्मूथ हो गया है बिकॉज
What gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait,
ये देखो
guards? Guards!
हाँ है ना हाँ अरे यार ये वो ग्रेशियस रिबूट का जो साइन आता है ना वो ऐसा त्रिशूल टाइप वो काफी ज्यादा स्मूथ दिख रहा है वैसा दिखता नहीं है ऐसा रुक जाओ मेरी ग्राफिक सेटिंग्स अब यार अभी तो खुलेगी भी नहीं मे बी इस जगह का टेम्पलेट ऐसा है आई डोंट नो मे बी आई डोंट नो आई रियली डू नॉट नो यप उरी क्या हो रहा है अच्छा अब मुझे वहां जाके बैठना है विल शी शो हर यप ओके सीन 1 बिफोर अ मिरर फुरीना अच्छा बड़ा ही मेहनत से बनाया हुआ कट सीन लग रहा है आई कैन बी फुरीना नाउ अच्छा मुझे चल इज द ट्रैवलर सिटी है ऑडियंस है नहीं नाचू किसके लिए मैं अरे ये मिरर थोड़ा सा वॉन्की सा लग रहा है मुझे अच्छा नहीं नहीं यार रुक जाओ इसका कैरेक्टर डिजाइन तो देख लूं अच्छा तो ये है हाइड्रो आर्कॉन
Farina. Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous.
Yep.
Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know.
अच्छा तो she is not the Archon, but
I don't
she's like created. So she is like basically same kind of sin.
all be dissolved into the
अच्छा
waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh.
अच्छा
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clear.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian just like them.
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people
अच्छा
a chance to turn things around. I will tell you how to save everyone.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you
भाई ये खत्म हो तो मैं खाना खाने जाऊँ ये खत्म हो तो मैं खाना खाने जाऊँ भाई मेरे बाल तक मैं अब थक गया हूँ मैं थोड़ा सा कल करेंगे यार अब
The first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you,
हाँ now we are skipping dialogues
with all the people of Fontaine on one side.
I suppose this would also be the justice. Huh? Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon.
Play as.
That's right. You must begin if you can keep it up.
So like what did she do after? मेरे को ये जानना है. I don't care how Furina feels. I don't.
I'm sure you already
I have
know
grown
what such an entity
like
would be like.
stoned enough.
Remember,
Yep.
your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure So, how long am I going
to accomplish this mission?
Yep.
You will have to stay on the stage for many, many, but I promise you.
A trial. Huh.
Okay, अब Ascension speech Furina. Ascension speech. अच्छा. चलो जी. अरे ये सब तो ठीक है भैया बट मोए ए बताओ हाइड्रो आर्कॉन करके रेली बानी है मोए ए बताओ अच्छा यहाँ पीछे से जाना ओके ओके बेटर अगर ये मेरे को वो सब दे देते बट चलो कोई ना क्योंकि ये कैंसिल तो नहीं ही कर रहा हूँ मैं
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession.
Yep.
But this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god?
Summon courage.
Ladies, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am, in truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. But it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send this. Should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I will.
Yep.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Yep.
She might just be a Maison-back puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is right? Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Furina. Think. Assertive. With
with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering, if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them.
Yep.
Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self. Here in this opera house, you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance.
Yep.
How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Yeah, true.
It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best
Yep.
follow this flow and restart my accessions. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin.
Turn up the drama. Yes.
Should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God.
Yep.
On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and applause. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine.
End the speech empathetically.
No
Yes.
trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the opera epiclese, so
Yep.
long as I stand before the oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Yeah. But I mean, that's what the people wanted her to be, so I get it. I get it. She was trying to be all good, but they were like, we are not gonna get it. Opera House Purina. अच्छा. ओके, क्या मैं यहाँ पे सो सकता हूँ? नहीं. Okay, I can run now as her.
Lady Farina, here
Yep.
are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just at the opera house
Yep.
in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true. I fear I lack the ability
Yep.
to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will.
सही बात है भाई, सही बात है भाई, सही बात है भाई, सही बात है.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you
Hanji.
stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an... All right. Deuteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family too. He is doing much better now.
Yep.
In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who...
Oh, good.
Yep.
Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
You're such a gentle and wise god.
So she's always just been like keeping the act up and just like not being herself. Get it, get it, get it. Get it. Get it. Get it.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far you... All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand
Yep.
it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found...
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Is that so? Well, no wonder...
हाय बेचारी, अब मेरे को तरस आ रहा है यार इस पे. नींद भी नहीं आती होगी यार बेचारी को, बस बिस्तर पे बैठ के ऐसे ताड़ती रहती होगी पंखा. Yep.
I haven't had a moment to breathe, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to... Alright.
Yep. So basically उसने इतना act किया that it just turned her eventually, like, you know, if you believe in something, it's like basically उसको split personality हो गया, but she's not actually a split personality.
There'll be no
Yep.
need for that. I've seen them already.
Yep.
There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina.
Yeah.
Indeed, my dear loyal citizen.
I just love how she changed to her Pneumonia outfit. If you noticed it. Yes.
Near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed.
Oh, she has just... Yeah.
I don't think I let anything slip today. I feel utterly exhausted.
ओए यार बेचारी. I just love how Genshin is just like showing her like her different like Osua and you know Pneumonia outfits ऐसा. If you don't notice, I do. I have a very keen eye. ये क्या है? Scene Opera House. Scene 18203. Ooh. Yep.
It's like a dream being able... I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Dioter.
And what a fine family yours is.
अरे रो रही है यार बेचारी. अंदर ही अंदर रो रही है लेकिन सिर्फ बाहर से बोल रही है.
A descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder.
Yep.
No wonder. A manifestation of your power then. Oh, Archon, I'm
अरे
honored to
यार
have witnessed it.
मुझे आंसू नहीं आ रहे, बस आंखों से बारिशें हो रही है. ओह ट्रू. आंसू नहीं आ रहे, बस आंखों से बारिशें हो रही हैं. या यार न्यूवलेट को बता देती ना. न्यूवलेट को बता देती.
The show must go on for hundreds more. I never
न्यूवलेट को बता देना चाहिए था. Yep.
reached my limit. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But with that, I've conducted so many investigations
Yep.
across the. All I can do is keep heart. I must.
अरे 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 सीन 1820 मेरे को पता है इसी के आसपास वो चाहिए एडवेंचरर रैंक पॉइंट्स ओह शी इज इन Poisson oh this is her inner thought
You don't have
yep
to show. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone.
yep
Your people are more.
yeah it is
Share. That's impossible. It was
Yep.
fated.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me.
A witness. And if Tavat is in its entirety. He's right. But if things don't.
her Punoma outfit
The people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina. You But what if.
Yep.
Farina, you've worked so hard for so. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find. If you let this opportunity slip through your finger, think about it. Long and hard.
बोल
No, I have nothing to say.
Yep.
I am for. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness.
फुरीना बोल दे लाफे मार लाफे ट्रैवलर ये कैसा है फाइन अभी भी नहीं बताना चाह रही यार बेचारी कहते हैं ना यार इंसान की पर्सनालिटी बन जाती है कभी कभार झूठ sad but then again ऐसे कई झूठ
Yep. Doesn't know the truth. You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done.
Yep.
To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Eudex of Fontaine.
वही तो सर्कल्स नहीं
of the issue.
शो मी
I'm sure
क्यों
you
किया
long
और क्या
sensed
होगा
that
अब
poetry
यप
is no simple machine. Yes?
I've always suspected
Yep.
that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you.
Yep.
Hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
So she was consuming the indemnitium?
One with the oratories.
Yep.
Taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the oratories. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated.
It was all part of your plan then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the oratories.
But why do you have to die?
This
Yeah.
magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by
So you're gonna break the
Celestia
Gnosis.
and breaking.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course.
So the Gnosis is the basis.
This was all
Yup.
done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
So the Gnosis. So the Gnosis is like the dragon's power जो Celestia ने छीन के Archons को दी थी. अच्छा, so that is why the Fatui are collecting the Gnosis.
The authority of the ancient
Yup.
dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years.
Yep.
Is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked.
अरे भाई.
Hydro Dragon,
Hydro Dragon, don't cry. अरे रुला देगी, मुझे भी रुला दिया. ये सब बोल के ये किसी को भी रुला सकते हो भाई. मैं करना तो चाहता हूँ लेकिन अब मुझे. अरे हम करेंगे वैन. हम करेंगे. यप.
The power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principle stole the power you ancient dragons possess.
वही तो. मैं करूँ तो साला कैरेक्टर ढीला है. यप.
And is it not, speaking of justice,
Yep.
I have always believed that justice lies. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then,
Yep.
leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words,
Yep.
existence was Egeria's justice. And
Yep.
to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's echoes shall
Ooh.
live on.
First time we are gonna see like a full elemental dragon like.
Over all others.
So
At this
it's
point,
like
we,
Devalin and
whether it be myself
just
or
these are like the
other
only two
Fontanians,
dragons that are alive.
have
Okay.
shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Nervillet,
Yep.
the highest judge in our land. When you regain
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine
Yep.
to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too, at last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the
Okay.
beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted
So it was
to feed
basically
them as
to
they feel.
make like
are a
Iudex
hideous one, Focalor.
understand like the importance of like
Things
human
being
life.
as they are. Surely
Smart.
you know that I could never
Smart.
declare them to be guilty.
Smart. I like it. I like it. I like it very very much. अरे यार I didn't want this. फुरीना को मारते ना इसे क्यों मार रहे हो?
for the sinner, the
Yep.
curtain call has come.
Curtain
I
call.
know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find
अच्छा.
myself a little afraid.
कोई ना बहन कोई ना.
This is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
Fear of death. अरे 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 यार गेंशिन में फाइनली कोई मर रहा है भाई.
Nervillet, I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
अरे 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 जोंगली को बुलाता हूँ ना मैं अभी. क्या हो गया? अभी बुलाता है ना मैं जोंगली को. चिंता काय को करती. अरे तेरी भाई ना आएगी ना अभी. अरे बुलाता रही मैं राइडन को. काय को मर रही है तू? वो मच्छी का ना ऐसा अरे उसने इतने बड़े सांप को 6 हिस्सों में काट दिया था यार, वो तो छोटी सी मच्छी है उस सांप के बराबर है में। 2 सेकंड में ऐसी इसी की तीसी कर देगी राइडन। जी इची इची अच्छे अच्छे उची इची पिच किच पिच किच पिच। अरे यार बीच में से कट गई होगी वो तो। अरे न्यूवलेट को शक्तियां मिल गई। देखो क्रिश, हम दोनों एक हो रहे हैं, हमारी शक्ति यार इतने 3 आर्कॉन मेरी साइड थे यार, और एक के पास तो उसका ड्रैगन भी अभी भी जिंदा है और एजडा भी है, लाइक थोड़ा पागल हुआ है मगर है तो सही। अरे इसका कर्स लिफ्ट हो गया भाई, इसको भी विजन मिल जाएगा क्या? द फर्स्ट विजन एवर गिवन आउट बाय एन आर्कॉन। थैंक यू फुरीना फॉर ऑल यू हैव डन। ओह द एक्ट फाइनली कम्स टू एन एंड। यप, प्लीज लिव हैप्पीली एज अ ह्यूमन, just as I wished I could. Final Hydro Dragon, Hydro. Newlet. Oh भाई, turn into a big ass dragon. Turn into. इतनी ताकत, शक्ति, शक्ति, शक्ति. Yup.
Hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
सेलेस्टिया के खिलाफ हम अब क्या धावा वावा बोल देंगे? भाई बोल दो भाई, सेलेस्टिया के खिलाफ धावा बोल दो, कतई कतई धावा बोल दो, काट के रख दो सेलेस्टिया को। आन दे भाई, जो गॉड है सारी आन दे। जोंगली तक खड़ा हो जाएगा क्योंकि वो तो अब आर्कॉन से रिटायर हो गया ना, बिना ग्नोसिस के पीट देगा उस सबको भाई ताकतवर तो है यार, 3-4 आर्कॉन एक साथ आ ही जाएंगे, उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है नहीं। राइडन तो अभी भी बहुत स्ट्रांग है इवन विदाउट। यप।
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But
it's time to end this.
Yep.
We must mete out punishment to that. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Certain means.
Yep.
I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial sea from that creature. We should see to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function,
yes,
I require an executor to help me mete out justice.
Executor!
The root of the calamity befalling Fontaine.
Yes.
The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution.
Finally, a dragon fights back this time. Oh, I see. अब मेरे को पता है अब क्या लगता है, हम सारे ड्रैगन्स को कलेक्ट करेंगे, लाइक डेवालिन वेवालिन सारे आर्कॉन्स को कलेक्ट करेंगे और हम सेलेस्टिया के खिलाफ धावा बोल देंगे। ओ भाई इतनी बड़ी मच्छी यार, राइडन को बुला लेने दो ना मुझे, क्या ही हो जाएगा 2 मिनट में काट देगी वो इसे, वो तो अपनी साइड है मच्छा। अरे नारवाल, नाश पिटीवाल। अरे अरे बता तो दो।
I've already done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. But considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source.
अरे बता तो दिए होते चिच्चा।
To attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for.
बता तो दिए होते चिच्चा। ये डैमेज तो हो रहा है, डैमेज तो हो रहा है, डैमेज तो हो रहा है भाई किसी को भी पीट सकता है।
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
यस 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 भाई किसी को भी पीट सकता है। हट हट तेरी ऐसी की तैसी, हट। ये ले 6000 का डैम, ये ले तेरी तेरी पूंछ पे मारेगा मैं। इधर आ, ओए इधर आ, ग्रेशियस रिब्यूक लेके जाइयो। ओए हील कर मुझे, ये 4000 का डैमेज तोड़ इसे, तोड़ तोड़ तोड़।
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour.
Yes.
To trigger its hostility, and a chance will present itself.
Chance will. आ इधर तेरी तेनू दसा मैं। अरे मेरी बर्स्ट वेस्ट करवा दे तू। रुक जाओ 1 सेकेंड, पहले थोड़ा हील। यस थोड़ा हील। और I don't know if you can see or not, but I have something very special right here in my arsenal. I have it. Yes, I have it. The adeptuses. ये खाएंगे क्रिट बढ़ेगा माम. नहीं मैं नहीं. सामने आ.
Why is there a hole-looking thingy over there? It looks really scary.
ये ना ये रॉक म्यूजिक की एक चीज है जो मेरे को बिल्कुल नहीं पसंद और तुमने वही बजा दिया. और तेरी ऐसी की तैसी. इधर आ. Oh boy, 31,000 cut.
Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
ये मेरे को ऐसा कानरिया वाली बुलशिट क्यों लग रही है? Seize the तेरी ऐसी. इधर आ. इधर आ. तुम्हारा भैया इतना डैमेज जो हम तुम्हें कर रहे हैं उसको कुछ तो मतलब होना चाहिए ना. ये क्या है? विजिटर फ्रॉम विजिटर. ये क्या है? यूज प्यूमोनिया. अरे मेरे पास दोनों ही नहीं है भ्राता. अच्छा ओ हाँ आई हैव प्यूमोनिया. यस इसके लिए 14 कैरेक्टर्स जरूरी था. फाइनली गॉट वन. मेरी सारी बर्स्ट्स वापस आ गई है. मेरी सारी बर्स्ट्स वापस आ गई है. यस आई हैव अ प्यूमोनिया पावर. पीट दे नवलेट. पीट दे कतई. पीट दे. पीट दे. पीट दे. बचा मत. पीट दे. पीट दे. छोड़ दे. छोड़ दे. पाड़ दे. पाड़ दे. पाड़ दे. राइडन बुलाऊं. राइडन बुलाऊं. मैं राइडन बुलाऊं. ओए ये क्या हो रहा है भाई? राइडन बुला. ओए मच्छी फ्राई बना दे इसका. स्कर्क. ओ भाई ये मेरे को ना सच में होंकाई की कैरेक्टर लगती है एकदम. या तो दिस इज होंकाई या ये कोई पुराने टाइम की लाइक प्राइमोर्डियल 1 की कोई है ये लेने देने वाली. इसकी तो मैं अभी लेनी देनी करता हूँ. रुको.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well.
थोड़ा नाक से बात करती है दीदी.
Short private training
Yep.
session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Master's pet.
Actually, I had
Yep.
a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Swing my sword.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Yes.
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right?
Say something weird about Paimon.
Gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak.
Yep.
But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world, so you may speak to me as equals.
You're what sort of person?
I have to agree.
Yep.
It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks.
Ooh.
It fails as a pet.
Yep.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
Sertologi. Satta lagao ji. Satta कौन है सट्टा?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Oh, is it the past Hydro Dragon?
Some
Yep.
master isn't sufficiently famous.
Yep.
How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name the Foul?
The Foul?
Still nothing?
The Sinner?
Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfalnir then? Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Gold Rhine daughter? Yep.
Part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest,
Yeah.
I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My
Yeah.
master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They're both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As
Acha.
such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Yep.
Not to worry.
Yeah.
Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
Ooh. Finally, Neuvillette has all this.
And the people will all be dissolved into the waters.
So they won't be dissolved.
Helena will remain, weeping on her throne.
So, like, the people won't be dissolved, but yes, there will be a flood. There will be a flood. एक सेकेंड भाई, फिर हम फाउंटेन में अब खरीदारी कैसे करेंगे?
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
But didn't like Neuvillette just like forgive them? Hey, how will we buy stuff now? भाई, ए, नीचे ला भाई. अभी मैंने सारे चेस्ट भी नहीं लिए हैं. ए, पानी नीचे लाओ रे. Oh, so they are not dissolving, they are swimming. ए, पानी नीचे ला रे. ओह, ब्राइट थेस्ली का वो बड़ा वाला जहाज भी दिखेगा, I guess. ये ब्राइट थेस्ली का बड़ा वाला. अरे हमारे पास भी एक बोट है. छोटी है, 2 बंदे तो आ ही जाएंगे. अरे भाई, मेरे को ब्राइट थेस्ली वाला जहाज देख रहा है, वो बड़ा वाला. मेरे को ब्राइट थेस्ली वाला जहाज देखना है. ये ब्राइट थेस्ली वाला जहाज. अच्छा नहीं, फाउंटेन ही ऊपर आ गया. ओह, अरे नहीं, ब्राइट थेस्ली वाला जहाज. ये उड़न खटोला. That is why I summoned for him. Yeah, dude, epic, epic, epic. This is the most epic thing I have ever seen. Oh my god. Yeah. Right, Thesly is the man, dude. खींच ले ऊपर, खींच ले, खींच ले, खींच ले. खींच ले, खींच ले, खींच ले, खींच ले. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But एक चीज है, it is not mixed with primordial water, so they can survive still. So this, like, ये पानी नीचे कब जाएगा? They don't have a vision. Is the knave helping? Like, she is number 3 for 2E. I guess she could help a lot.
Look, the water's receding.
है? पानी नीचे जा रहा है. पानी नीचे जा रहा है. ओह भाई, finally.
It's a miracle. The water's receding. We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong.
The prophecy wasn't wrong, it was just a bit twisted. Yeah, just like what Kratos did. This is exactly what happened in God of War, dude. Odin died, Asgard fell, but Kratos didn't die, and it was all fine. It was just जो बोला वो हुआ, लेकिन ट्विस्ट के साथ. By the way, अभी तक हमें ये नहीं पता चाइल्ड का क्या हुआ. Yup, fulfilled. ओह, प्रभु परमेश्वर, क्या इसको एक विजन मिलने वाला है? Will Celestia grant her a vision now? Finally, will it? She should be granted one. If this ends today, हम कल फुरीना का स्टोरी क्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. I once, ओह, रायथसली भाई दिल जीत लिया. अच्छा हाँ, अब एक उड़ता हुआ जहाज भी तो है फाउंटेन में. या वो तबाह हो गया, पानी उसकी सारी पावर यूज हो गई. ओके, यप. अच्छा.
Visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson, Old Soil, Skyship Winglet, Boone of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with the barrier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second.
Yeah.
If the latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his...
Oh bhai. Yeah.
The people in the reports, are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
ये फाइनली हमने फाउंटेन में भी सबको बचा लिया, लेकिन फिर भी हमें हमारी बहिना नहीं मिली.
We would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups.
Yeah.
We published further report. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia construction of their own.
Rightly story quest number 2 आ रहा है भाई.
Even your well-traveled eye.
Yep.
Paimon's curious too.
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the...
Are you sure?
Yup.
Turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on.
उरे. अरे भाई ड्यूक ने बचा. ये देख रहे हो? ये बंदा जो तुम्हारे सामने खड़ा है अभी. ये इंसान, इसने बचाया है सबको, ठीक है? भूलना मत इसे. इसने बचाया है सबको. ये है वो मसीहा, सबको बचाने वाला, राइथेस्ली द ग्रेट. अभी भी ये लोग लड़ रहे हैं, मनी प्रिंसिपल में है. अभी मर के जिंदा हुए तुम. द मोर्टल डिजायर्स मचा. चलो गाइस, सो दैट वाज इट फॉर टुडे डूड. एपिक, जस्ट वन वर्ड, एपिक. Just one word. Truly epic. Truly fascinating. All right then, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. तब हम शायद से फुरीना को स्टोरी क्वेस्ट स्टार्ट कर दें. यस, सो या अब हम कल मिलेंगे विद whatever is left. वैसे तो I don't think ज़्यादा कुछ बचा है. It's just the after story और I guess some newlet और फुरीना से मिलेंगे. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Adios. थक गया भाई, थक गया. आज तो थक गया भाई. आज तो कैड़ा सीन हो गया. आज थक गया. मजा आया लेकिन आज.